This Kalani over here with Hawaii Tabletop, and today I just wanted to talk about Red Raven games. So pass by his games, you probably notice him for his whimsical characters and the art. It's simple and easy, and they're nice. And he takes you into this road, and he builds a road within his games. His first game I really started off with was Artifact Inc. Most likely, if you get into a game, you probably don't want to buy a bigger box, yeah. So you end up grabbing a smaller box, and this is the Artifact Inc. It's more simple, easy Euro style, plays with Euro style mechanics, and Artifact Inc. is more like you're a little company that's selling up the artifacts. So you go into a museum, you sell the bones, hey, you want this, you want that. And in a small game that doesn't cost that much, it's a big game. Every time you finish the game, you always feel like you want to play more and more. You never get to finish everything in a sense. And it's a card game with little cubes in a way. But it's very satisfying for a small game too, yeah. So you can get a very good value out of this small box, and it's a good game to take it on the go. Kind of got that before I grabbed a bigger game in that sense for his games. And it's been, I don't know, what, 2016 probably, and we still have it, so, and we still play it, so it's very enjoyable, easy, and again, every time I finish the game, I feel like playing more. So to me, it's sort of special too with having Artifact Inc. because of with my friends, we sort of discovering the tabletop games, the board games. It's like, wow, there's a lot just for a small game, and stick with us, and there's a lot of memories with it in its own way. So I don't see myself getting rid of that anytime. But again, at least it keeps going on the table and you play it. So moving up, we got into Above and Below, which most of you guarantee heard of if you're within the playing the board games. If you're new, it's these games with Above and Below. You can find it at Barnes and Nobles. It's a game, but it's a story. So you're literally you could be. I remember the first time I bring it out on the table and had my nephew. We was playing, and I told him how the mechanics, how to do this, what to do, and that's how you get your points. So we played, and there's a road above, and then you take your characters, and then you can go below. So search for artifacts and items. When he goes below, attempt to roll the dice. The dice is just meant to find a card and a number where you might explore. And then he reads me on the number. Then I'll bring up the book and open the book, and then I start reading to him. It's like, whoa, it's like a lot of us was enjoying it because of the story part. So it depends on some people might not like it because there's not a lot of game, but there's a game, but his story is different too. Some people don't like to. Maybe you don't want to be reading when you're playing. I even heard some people using the storyboard or the story book just for telling stories for their kids. And so another thing I want to point out, younger people might just grab into because they come alive because there's a story there, and that's really important in a way. You're bonding, so yeah, you get your family. Um, just like a story time, they want to read it because you get more engaged into it, and that's a key point with storytelling and adding the game element to it. Even when I was playing, I remember playing some video games. I was playing the game, but when there was a story, it's like wow, and you're playing the story. So this is kind of neat. You play at the top, and then when you go down below, you can explore. So exploring and finding those little stars is that key part. You can't you're probably gonna depend on the age, but you're probably gonna end up playing with your kids just to make sure everything else moves fine and they can read the story. And again, the artwork is really it's it's very soothing and nice. I mean, it's just simple, and a lot of people appreciate and love the artwork, especially at that time. There wasn't another artist. The art was started to peak more important, so having his work really stood out. And now 2020, you can find you gotta have your artwork, otherwise we won't even bother looking at it. You know what I mean? But that was above and below, and um, I'll come back to something about that too. And then moving on, we got Islebound. I love it. It's the game you sail to the islands, you collect stuff, you can deliver stuff. Still has the same feel from the above and below in the sense of the building wise, the mechanics. And that's a theme you're gonna see within his games. You putting the cards down and that's your building. But Islebound, I noticed it was very relaxing because when I was playing with someone, they took way longer than usual, but it didn't bother me. So that's when I realized, wow, this game is very. It just works for me, and I enjoy moving to the islands here and there, and then collect stuff, put stuff. There's a little story in the sense of some cards, but it's gonna be the same story. So I wouldn't look dive into it trying to think there's a story. It'd be a shame if too bad they don't expand just on that cards itself or a little story here and there. But otherwise, I just enjoy the thing. It's just not there's not a lot of stuff. You only have you get the fish, wood, and then you get these books that represents I forgot what it was, but these books in there's not too much icons in it, so it's very simple. You just gotta get that first flow, and you could take over an island, or you could ask them nicely. Diplomacy, hey, you should join us, you know. And if somebody takes over the islands, it's fine, you know, it's a good thing because if they take over the island you already had, you can retake over the island and get points. So just keep that in mind. And no particular order in these games. It's still in my collection, so it's still good, or still in the library. So again, I find it very peaceful when I share it with others or people that just, we're there to enjoy each other's company. We play. It's a relaxing enough. And these games, especially during the quarantine, especially with storytelling, you're not in a rush. So I really appreciate them a lot more. And Islebound was really nice because again, you just going to island. Island makes me want more of that too. So that's Islebound. And then we got Ancient Road. Ancient Road is the second edition. So second edition is a little bit more generous in how you work the placement. So it's not as like you gotta put the character there and you're locked out. But I enjoy that one because again it has the buildings. You got the worker placement and you put the people around. But there's these titans that start to come and you're protecting your village. The more you can make the village itself safe, easy and comfortable for everybody, the more points and you can gather in that sense. The artwork is nice. I just love the colors. You don't really have to focus on the titans as much, and you have to fight, but they're there and they're gonna be on your board, and somebody else can fight the titan on your board too. But if you don't go that route, which you can, you should you should kind of play with it. But you're gonna have to really focus on building the other way if you choose to not fight. And again, it doesn't feel. I like how you make the troops they can grow and get more people, but after a while you're gonna have to retire that big army because it's gonna get expensive. So again, I like it a lot because I can put that down as a game. Boom, play, and then that's one thing with story and or campaign wise, you ongoing. But Ancient Road really nice. Uh, s- uh, I use the word simple, but it's, I should say, once you play in his world, you get familiar with his world. So it's easy to play his other games. Might be a little tweak or something else you're just doing. So Ironbound, you're moving your boat around. Above and below, you still see he's still building, but he's just you getting the story play. And then moving on with above and below was near and far. So Ironbound, I think, well, I believe it was I saw my Barnes and Nobles. I'm not sure anymore. But above and below and near and far, you can find at Barnes and Nobles too. Or you can go online, but I'm just saying Barnes and Noble because of the story element. Near and far goes way more into story. Okay. Um, Even has different modes, so you can run through this. The book is a map, and you play through the map, and you can discover things, which is fun. And then you hit the points wherever on top of the map that you might put this little token. You hit there, then the story goes on. And as you're playing a character mode, and you're taking your special character and you're discovering your story out through the game. Might take like 9 games or so, or maybe less, like three or 4 games, I believe. So if you're doing the character part, and you'll end up at the last map. Those are fun because you want to find the characters. What's going to happen to my character? And you can play. And here's a neat thing: you can take your card, and if you was playing with somebody else that had the game, you can take that card and still play your own character with other people. So I found that kind of neat. But Nearfar has its own different feel. Do enjoy the story, really enjoy the character, and I thank God it really got played a lot more during the quarantine because there's no thank you. It definitely had uh, more time, you're not in a rush, and you can really play. That sense, it's perfect at home with your family or whoever wants to uh, play and go on an adventure. So I still really like it. And I want to also point out from the near and far, the Islebound, you can take those characters and you flip them over and you can put it in above and below. So they're all in the same universe. So if you play one, makes it easier to play the other games because it's familiar, and that can make a huge difference in your games. So it's sort of the same but different, and then you're used to the mechanics or the icons. So it makes gameplay real easy to just play into the next game and the next game. So that's the main. I got 5 games. Um, Someone may not be as interested. I was thinking about the space theme and some other ones, but I'm really looking forward to his Sleeping God. So it's a full on cooperative story game and looking forward. And during the quarantine, we really appreciate the story element of these games and really, I really appreciate that, and it's really healing and helpful. So thank you very much for those the story games. Um, Being indoors and the story of exploring and going out really makes a big difference. It's a lot more than just watching a movie or the thing because you're engaged in his games. You're doing little things. So that makes it a lot more special and a lot more healing. And I can see the difference the family are playing with, and during this time, it's we really need that right now. So again, the healing part is very important out of these games, and there's a lot more. And the value I'll get in the box. Just to let you know, these boxes are the bigger box costs more, but you can get these on sale, especially like above me though. Maybe the Islebound depends. Artifact doesn't cost that much, but it's more the game. But if you like the story part, you can get into above, below, and near and far. I wanted to get his other game because they had a second edition, but I missed out. What was that called? Orange City, the second edition. The board looks just so nice, and I find the artwork really makes a difference. I mean, you're gonna play for a while and you're gonna be staring at these or looking at the board. You want something nice on the eyes. His artwork is very soothing and nice, and that's very healing and surrounding yourself with that. So, nice, simple thing. All right, thank you so much, and take it easy. You guys take care. Aloha, and I'll see you later.
Ooh, but if I'm late, ooh, the one my heart has gone to, may not want to wait.